time for the second channel message of the day, and it is about these two books, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Magician's Nephew, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, if you scroll on my page, you'll see that I made a post about Prince Caspian, and, feel free. That was about the movie, Prince Caspian, right? And then after that, I felt compelled to read the book series, which I have the entire book series on my shelf, and I had never read them, right? I will say I was very happy at The Magician's Nephew because it answered some questions that I had about Narnia all along. But the reason that I bring this up, right, is because in these books, right, there are, how do I explain this? Two sets of people I want to talk about. And I'm not going to say evil, but I'm going to say low vibrational, right? There are two sets of low vibrational people. You have in The Magician's Nephew, the magician who is the main character, the nephew, right? His name is Diggory, right? He's in category number 2, right? But his uncle, can't remember the dude's name for the life of me, but his uncle and the White Witch, who we see her in Narnia, right? Like in the movies, we actually get to see her. They tell you more about her in these books, right? But in that category, you have what I like to call the truly dark people who typically want to stay low vibrational. They don't want to change. They don't want to help themselves. Those people typically try to corrupt those around them, right? Because even down to in this book, Diggory, he has a friend with him. God, what is her name? Well, Polly, that's her name. Diggory and Polly, who is what I'll call our third group of people who are just intrinsically good and look for the best in things, is typically where you have your Pollys. In this book, Lucy, Susan, Peter, and Edmund would fall in the Diggory category of this, right? But if she's intrinsically good and you have this intrinsically bad who just wants to do things to corrupt, right? They go into a hall. This is before the foundation of Narnia. They go into a hall, and Diggory almost beats up Polly to ring this bell that brings the White Witch to life, because she had been under a sleeping spell for quite a while, right? And he spends a lot of the book saying that the reason that he hid it is because there was some sort of incantation or something that says, do it now lest you be mad, or something like that. Like, you'll go crazy thinking about what could have happened. And he keeps saying that part was already sinking into him, right? And we're gonna get to Edmund, because Edmund had the same thing go on, where he had this Turkish delight made out of the witch's magic, and it felt like he needed to the point that he was believing things that in their souls they knew was BS. I'm just putting it out, because in both of these books they meet Aslan, right? They meet Aslan, and when they meet him, Aslan calls them out of like, no, don't pretend like you didn't do it. Don't pretend like there was something intrinsically, something externally trying to convince you. There was a part of yourself that wanted to be led, right? And it's only after they accept that part of themselves that they're able to change from being on low vibrational, evil, to inherently good, high vibrational, right? Because it's not, when we talk about people doing bad things and terrible deeds, yes, there are people who do that. The witch and the uncle, literally, and you can tell solely from the fact that when the foundation of Narnia was going on, Aslan was singing. It sounded like roaring. Well, it looked like roaring, but he was singing the world into existence, right? And in doing so, the only people who thought the sound sounded disgusting or gross or uncomfortable were these people who genuinely didn't like joy. I'm being so for real. The only people who had a problem with it, even Diggory, who was in a low vibrational mindset, right, still heard this song and found courage and found truth, he found himself being inspired, right? And you can only get out of that mindset when you take the step of going, yeah, I did the bad thing. And I didn't do the bad thing because somebody told me to do the bad thing. I did the bad thing because inherently, sometimes we just want to. And that's not the problem, right? The problem is not acknowledging that you did the bad thing, not taking accountability for it. Because you can always come back from doing something bad as long as you're willing to take accountability for it, ask for forgiveness, and work on yourself. But the first thing you have to do is admit that it's not something outwardly that's trying to corrupt you inside. It's something inside of you that wanted to do that. And it's okay. Some people are like that. Some things work like that. That is a part of life. Everybody does bad things from time to time. But it's how we go about atoning for those bad things that matters. Hope that helped anybody who needed to hear that. And peace. I love you guys.